Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I'm just literally coming to the end of my watering, and the last thing I always do is Derek's plants. And as that's an actual category on our list of, request type things from the week ago Sunday chat, I thought we'll do that category now as I water them. Quite a few, well, I'll say quite a few. Some haven't got labels, so I don't really know what they are. And some have got, a couple have got labels that are difficult to read. Some of them have got, well, one of them's got what I call a meaningless name, because it's a name that Google cannot find in any shape or form. Bearing in mind, it will get near spelling. So if you spell something not quite right, it'll still find it for you and give you the options. And this one comes up with nothing. So the only thing I can come up with that one is that somebody named it. In other words, they did the cross, got some seedlings, named it and never registered it. So the name only exists on this tag, and possibly some others, maybe. So I'll swing the camera around. Do I want to do that? No, you want to look at the plants, not watch me watering. You've seen me watering often enough. But I'm not going to the trouble of getting my plastic tray out. There's only a few plants. You'll have to put up with the clanging noise. Tough, as they say. Now this is one of the ones with no label, so I haven't got a clue what this is. But as a plant, it's now growing quite nicely. Now, almost across the board with Derek's plants, they are cooler growing Oncidium types. Some are actual odontoglossums, odontocidiums, odontodas, which is odont cross with cochleoda, I think it is, but cool growers in the main. So you can safely say that these grow cool and not too much light. So this one has grown on, it's pushed up a nice new bulb, it's rescued, it's okay. Now these were all repotted last year into bark. So there's no moss in any of these pots, so they can stay in there another year undisturbed, which in some cases will mean they're at the limit of the pot size. They will have to go up a pot size. But I've lost quite a few of these. I started with around 20, I think I'm down to about 12. And some of those are sad losses. But for those of you who don't know, I'll do the Derek story. I used to belong to the Bournemouth Orchid Society. Derek was the chairman for about 40 years. Very well respected guy in the sort of Orchid Society community and everything. And he became ill at the same time as moving house. So basically he moved house, became ill, his orchids moved environments, he couldn't look after them because of his illness. Somebody tried to help out by watering once a week, but they weren't getting looked after. When he eventually passed away, he left a request that his orchids were passed on to society members, and he left it to the committee to organise. So what they did was they sent an email round saying that anybody interested in any of Derek's plants, make your request known. And at the time we weren't mixing. We were doing the, I'm not coming anywhere near you thing. So it had to be organised in such a way that a few people went at a time. And even though I responded to that email when I got it, which is instantly, by the time I got there, most of the good plants were gone, and I ended up with the dregs. I got a couple of nice plants, but a lot of them were in a very sorry state. And as a consequence, they all went into a state of rescue, and some never made it. But that one's okay, even though I don't know what it is. I did that deliberately. You'll have to put up with it. I've got time to mess about doing separate trays, because it means it's wet, then I have to wash it, then I have to dry it. Oh, I'm not doing it. Not just for these few plants. Right, another one with no tag. This one is a single leaf bulb. Now I don't know what that means, but it means it's not a normal Oncidium type. It's got no, well, it starts off with bracts at the base of the bulb, but it ends up with one leaf at the top. So I don't know what it is, but it's grown some roots and it's grown a new bulb. So it's sort of okay, whatever it is. They're just coming out, not in any order, they're just coming out from underneath here. I seem to be picking on all the ones with no tags. Again, this one has got no tag, but it's pushed up a nice new growth and it's got some good roots in the pot. It's got new roots coming off of this new growth as well. The next new growth will be on the edge of the pot, so but it's rescued. It's okay, it will make it. Provided we don't mess it up on a repot, whatever it is, it's now growing okay. So none of these are, well, none of these are large plants as you'd call them. None of them are well grown or anything like that. They're just being rescued, and that's the best I can do at the moment. Again, nice strong new growth on this one, and we do have roots in the pot, and this one is Oncidium laeve. Laeve, so a species Oncidium basically. That's growing okay now, so yeah. It'd be wonderful to get these size pots again. Just don't get them. The smaller size, yes, but not this one. It's the one in between. I'd love to be able to get some of them. They're not only a certain size, but they're flat. They're not deep compared to the measurement across the top. That's that one. Ooh. Right, again, this one has grown a new growth, and it does have some roots but not many. And this is Oda, which means it's an Odontodia, and it's Cooksoniae. I believe that's a species, but it might be a hybrid, I'm not sure. Because when people write tags and they write the whole tag in capital letters, you don't know, do you? And why put an abbreviation on a tag? Why put Oda? Why not write Odontodia, if that's what it is? You only do the tag once, well, unless you like me and don't do it at all. But you know what I mean, if you're going to do a label for a plant, write it in full, do it properly, and use capitals and lowercase where appropriate to indicate a species or a hybrid, and the full intergeneric in this case. Do it properly. You're only going to do it once. Now this one might not make it. It did grow a little tiny new growth, but you can see compared with the size of the bulb that is shriveled, this is not a good plant. This one is probably not going to make it. Now on the tag it says it's Oncidium cheesebrightianum, and I'm reasonably confident, because it came from Burnham's and they've labelled them wrong, that is the Mexicoa that I've actually got in another pot. But that, I don't think that's going to make it. It's got no roots, and that new little growth took all the energy out of the bulb that was there, so it's highly unlikely that that's going to make it. So not growing, so that only gets a triple. But I suspect that that's just mislabelled, and we know what it is. Right, this doesn't look very good. I think we've just lost another one. Yep, latest new growth on there is just rotted. So that one's gone now. Oh, and that was Wilsonara Tiger Brew Yellow. That's a shame. Those blooms would have been good. So that's another loss, to take that one off the list. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants in the latest round of watering that have been condemned and assigned to the Well, I was going to say to the hedge, but we don't do the hedge anymore. And this next one has a tag as well. This is the one that there's no sort of evidence of, and it says it's Oncidium Emrys Jones, E-M-R-Y-S, Emrys Jones. That sounds a bit Welsh, doesn't it, with a Y in the middle, when an I would have been perfectly good. But it's growing okay, whatever it is, and it has done some roots. It's climbed a little bit, so the latest roots, not all of them have gone in the pot, but some have. So whatever this is, it's growing okay. So that one's recovered okay. Only two more now. And this one's an only just. This is another one that looks highly likely that the new growth could rot. It's got slight discoloration on it. It's firm at the moment. And this is, it says, Oncidium ornithorhynchum. It'll be Sotoanum. It's highly unlikely to be the actual what it says on the tag, but it could be. Anyway, it's recovered, sort of. It's sort of doing okay. It has got roots in the pot, and it is pushing up a new growth. So we'll have to wait for blooms on that to confirm whether it is what it says on the tag or whether it's Sotoanum, because that plant was misnamed for almost 100 years, because when it was first described, it was a black and white drawing, and basically you can't tell whether it's yellow or pink in a black and white drawing, can you? And when they actually realised that it was describing a yellow Oncidium and not the pink one, yeah, they had to think up a new name. So the pink one, the highly fragrant one of the parents of all the twinkles, was named Sotoanum. And the other one, the yellow one, the one that was actually originally described, retained that name that I can never say. So I've said it once, I'm not saying it again. I have trouble with that word, I really do. And then this last one, again, no tag, but this one's grown on quite well. It's grown several new growths, and it's got another one coming up here now, and it's got roots in the pot. It's got a good root system, this one, and it's growing okay, but I don't know what it is. It's another one with no tag. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We're down to, in fact there's 10, because this one is also one of Derek's, the only larger plant that I managed to get that was in good nick, and this is the Prosthetia radiata that will be coming into bloom soon. So this was the only large plant left when I got there. So as soon as I walked in the door, I'm having that. I didn't even know what it was at the time. I thought I'm having that because I could scan round, you know, looking through the glass as we walked up to the greenhouse. I just looked inside and I thought, that's rubbish. Most of what's in there just needs going on the compost basically. But this one stuck out as a reasonable plant. It's not rare or anything, you know, it's a Prosthetia radiata, but one of the most fragrant orchids around, that one. So that was a Derek's, well, is a Derek's plant, but it's separated out because it blooms and grows well, and it's not on a rescue shelf. Well, it wouldn't fit on there for a start. So anyway, that's the first one off of that list that you good people created for me. I haven't finished analysing all your comments yet, but I'm well over halfway through, and there's some surprises. Certain orchids are getting high hits. Dendrobium lindleyi is way ahead of all the others by a long way. There will be lots of orchids that weren't selected. There will also be quite a lot of orchids that only had one. They might not get covered as a spotlight. Yeah, the ones with multiples and the categories with multiples, Quite a few comments, an amount of comments have been ignored for not doing as they're told. I said up to 5 orchids and 1 category. So giving me 5 categories is not a lot of good, is it? Which one am I supposed to pick? So ignored. Yeah? Yeah, so those that didn't do as they're told, I mean, some people gave me 1 orchid and 1 category. Well, that's fine. Up to 5 includes 1, doesn't it? In 1 category. But yeah, quite a few of the comments could not be analysed on the grounds that I wouldn't know which bit to pick because they weren't clear. There were quite a few orchids spelt wrong. I said I'll manage that, and I have. There were no misspelt orchids that I didn't know what was meant. So that list will be complete relatively soon. And as I said, this crosses a category off the list. I think there were up, as far as I've got with the comments, there were, I think, 4 people had said they wanted Derek's orchids. So more than 1. Some categories haven't been selected. Yeah. So and obviously quite a lot of orchids haven't been selected. But there are some quite popular ones. I will gather those together when I've finished, and we'll do that as the first set of spotlights, the high hit ones, the most popular ones, and we'll get those done first and then move on from there. Anyway, good to see you again. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Don't forget the like, and if you've got somebody else that might be interested in this, don't forget to share, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.